The Hunt is a horror short film that I've wrote and directed as a part of the Masters program in Southampton, UK. The task was to create a short film and we got the freedom to come up with any stories and pick a genre for the project. I was thinking about creating a new version of one of my earlier films called Time Trouble, with a storyline focused on traveling in time. I tried to go the same way when I made Past, Present and Future, since the film was a new version of another short film I made earlier called The Argument and the Resolution. I later scrapped the idea because I didn't find any inspiration for the time travel concept and I felt it would be too repetitive. Since I couldn't get back to Southampton because of the lockdown, I chose to make a horror short film based in my home instead. It was the first time in 5 years since I worked on a horror project, so I felt it would be fun to come back to the genre. To prepare as much as I could, I made concept drawings and storyboards. I made test shots in the house to figure out how I could shoot the scenes. Since the lockdown continued, finding actors would be a challenge. I had no other choice than casting this handsome creature and let him play the monster too. I wanted the design of the monster only to be a dark silhouette with shiny eyes to make it look animalistic and haunting. The design of the eyes was done using reflective tape. I taped it on my eye locks and made a test in the bathroom to see if it could work. And it did. Eyes checked. The film was shot using my Sony FDR AX33 Handycam and was recorded with my Rode microphone. To have the right light for the film, I asked a friend of mine who worked as a director for a TV company if I could borrow some lights. I had worked with him in the past as a production assistant in one of his projects, and it was a part of my bachelor studies. I borrowed the lights for 1 week. To find the right costume took some time to figure out. I first tried a wetsuit to see if it could work. I later decided against it since it looked rubbish, unconvincing, and would never fit in the dark. The only solution to the problem was to dress myself in all black clothes I could find. I made some test shots to see how the light worked and if the clothing could look convincing on the camera. The visual effects in the film, like the knives, the mirror, and the scene where the main character discovers the creature in the basement, was done using split screen. I filmed the knife in 7 positions and placed them together. Everything else was pretty much the same thing as I did with the early projects, where I calculated the reactions and movements. The jump scare where the monster captures the main character was speeded up to make it look more unexpected. It looked kind of weird when it was played in normal speed. The last scene where the monster is crawling to the camera was done by filming it with a cold light that filled the room. I performed the movements too. With the help of color grading, I was able to hide most of my body so only the head and the eyes could be the focus in the shots. The sound effects in the film were recorded after the shoot. It was the hardest job on the production. Since I had a Rode microphone, I recorded several sounds like footsteps, running, breathing, doors opening and slamming, the crackling sound in the neck, the crawling on the floor, and the jump scare. The monster sounds were created by me. I filmed myself making different noises and later put them in the film. To make my voice unrecognizable, I low pitched the voice in the audio program on DaVinci Resolve to make them sound more hideous. The music was done using my own keyboard. I just played a simple note and it was pretty much done. I originally planned to film for 3 days, starting from Monday to Wednesday during Easter. I managed to film the first half of the film. However, after I got a little sidetracked by the other plans that happened during the Easter, I had to film during Sunday and finish the last scenes on Monday. I was going to deliver the lights that day, so I was in a hurry. I realized I should have spent more time on schedule, but I took it as a learning on how to prepare a good schedule and do the best as you can when it becomes tighter. When I was in the post-production phase, I couldn't let go of the thought of making a poster of the short. I took a picture of myself with a dark background and combined the photo with 2 scenes from the short film and put the title on it. I felt the project was a nice challenge and it was fun to build up the scares. What I could have done better is that the picture is very blurry and unfocused in the basement scene. There are shadows on the wall when the main character is in the dark. This was a result of the schedule and I didn't have enough time to look through it to see if the shots looked good. The scenes with the knives and the mirror image could also have been explored more in the story. I think these details could have been summed up in the end of the film. My bad. The sound quality could also have been improved. I should have prepared the sounds by looking through the first rough cut and figure out what could have worked better for some of the sequences. Despite some of its flaws, I still think it was a fun project to work on. It gave me new challenges and experiences. I think it is a good thing that you work on what you have and do what you can with small equipments. The testing of the lights was a good exercise in how to create a good atmosphere for a scene. To create my own sound effects and music for the film took the longest time, but I felt it was worth it. Anyway, I think it was a good choice by moving into different ideas and see what interesting ways I could get into with the horror concept. Thanks for watching.